Hello my Kings, Queens, and Fat and Binary Leaders, and here we are back again with Sweetened Scent. This is part 2 of the sequel series to... Wait, what? The Sunshine Secret, alright. Yes, I can do this. Again, I am so happy with how positively this series and this ship is perceived. I'm very, very curious, again, to hear all your theories on this series. But for now, let's just give you a few more nuggets of information. And yeah, by all means, tell me your favorite quote under the pinned comment, but now, let's go. Kiyomi. Kageyama looked up tentatively. He had tensed up and curled in on himself a bit while witnessing his mate's aggression. Even without saying it, it was evident that it had scared him. Sakusa looked down ashamed and hesitantly sat down at the other end of the couch, giving him space. I'm sorry, Tobio. This is all my fault. The deep, honest eyes watched him with the scary precision of a setter. Kageyama wasn't good at reading emotions in others, sense and mate bonds or not, but that didn't make him any less observant. It felt like he was deconstructing every mask Sakusa had ever tried to put on, like he had never acknowledged or seen them in the first place. Honest confusion coined the expression over their exchange, and with that, an old insecurity that may scab over repeatedly, but never heal completely. It just drove his shame deeper, and he sighed. What happened? He struggled to put the events into a logical order, and Sakusa couldn't blame him. He was the only one freaking out over this when they had other things to worry about, namely their soon-to-be very pregnant mate and the pup he would bring into the world. Atsumu's scent has changed. Kageyama nodded, his brows pulling together in an irritated frown, but he still indulged him. Don't you think that's odd? He seemed to think about that for a moment, while subconsciously moving closer to Sakusa. I've never heard of that before. Exactly. What if it's a sign of something bad? Like what? Sakusa just looked away. He had stayed up all night a few days ago and fell down a rabbit hole of scent-affecting illnesses and diseases. He quickly ruled out most infections since Atsumu showed no other symptoms, and it wasn't like he smelled sick. He knew that scent, avoided it at all costs. It was sour and sweet in a rotten sense, like burned cables or certain enzymes in saliva and bile. It burned bitter in an almost chemical way in the back of the throat. Atsumu didn't smell like that, but ruling out an infection brought him no peace, as it only left the possibility for worse. He pulled his knees to his chest and rested his arms and head on top of them. The Alpha knew that his scent was souring, but it wasn't like he could prevent it, and secretly he was glad that Hinata had fallen asleep in the nest so that he wouldn't get infected with his distress and worry for no reason. Suddenly, there was a tentative touch on his arm, asking for permission, if it would help. Sakusa didn't reply verbally, but leaned to his right where he knew Tobio would be. As his shoulder bumped against the Alpha's, the younger pulled closer, reaching his arms around him and sending his neck where it lay exposed from Sakusa leaning into his touch. For a while they didn't speak as Kageyama's Suhamagiku scent cancelled out the sour distress of the spiker. The setter offered a silent type of reassurance Kiyomi quickly learned to appreciate, while Atsumu and Hinata were loud and unfiltered. It took him a while to understand, but he drew comfort from Tobio's quiet acceptance. It helped that he quickly learned over time that, yes, the Alpha could be loud too, especially in disagreement. He was honest in a way that was rare to find. In his outspoken conflicts lay the reassurance that his silence didn't harbor hidden intent. Kiyomi relaxed against him and allowed his mate to soothe him. His worries persisted, but he appreciated that Kageyama didn't try to talk him out of them immediately. There were times he needed them to put his concerns back into a realistic framework, and there was now. He wouldn't dare assume it nothing when he could very well be a warning for something devastating. Why not talk with him about it? I guess I'm scared it's just my anxiety and phobia getting the better of me when we have so much else to prioritize. Kageyama hummed an understanding and began scratching soothingly over his scalp with thinking. Kiyomi couldn't explain how soothing it felt, like it was drawing him in deeper and deeper, and he wasn't sure anymore how to go without it. The mate mark at his neck ached reassuringly that he wouldn't have to. Suddenly, Kageyama paused and looked at him surprised, before a small smile tugged his lips outwards. What? It sounds like you're purring. Sakusa's cheeks flushed red as he noticed the satisfied rumble that had begun to resonate in his chest. It wasn't the comforting purr omegas produce in the back of their throats when at ease, but a deeper, more subtle sound that was rarer but could occur in alphas. He could sense the pride in Kageyama's scent as his smile widened in a deep affection through their bond. Purring, whether from an alpha or omega, even beta, was a sign of utter trust. It spoke of a deep contentment and safety someone experienced around that person, and Sakusa tried his hardest to fight the shame his upbringing had installed in him, if only to see Tobio smile like that again. Some people had decided that although others were equally capable of the expression, purring was an Omegan behavior and a sign of submission. It had been drilled into him never to give in to such for an alpha low and unworthy urges, but they made him want to throw all of that out of the highest window. Still, he hid his face in embarrassment against Kageyama's side, who gave a satisfied rumble himself and turned to pull him into his arms fully. He started massaging at the back of his neck, close to his scent glands and mate marks, with the same soothing circular scratches, and Sakusa was helpless against the calm trust washing over him. He let himself fall into his arms, giving himself and his worries to Tobio to hold onto for just a moment while he rested. He felt suddenly really tired. The spiker hadn't even noticed how much tension he had been carrying with him. If this was weakness, he didn't mind being weak from time to time. If trusting his mate fully meant to be an improper alpha, he didn't want to be a proper one. When Atsumu returned home, he felt exhausted, but also a little better, calmer. He had went to his brother to complain, and although not without teasing, his brother had listened between serving customers and just let him vent. He also sent him home with more onigiri for Hinata, and really, if it was something his Omega wanted, he could endure some teasing for that. He yawned as he returned and slowly shuffled through the hallway after towing off his shoes. He was about to call out to announce his return when he spotted Tobi on the couch with Kiyomi in his arms. The tall ace looked to be deeply asleep, while Kageyama traced gentle patterns onto his back. His expression was unusually soft. Atsumu almost wished others could see him like this. He was so much more incredible than they made him out to be, so much gentler than anyone seeing him on the court and stumble clumsily through interviews would ever assume. But just almost. This was their Tobio. His. This was a piece of the younger setter he only gifted to those closest to him, and Atsumu was infinitely grateful to be one of them. He watched him from the doorframe, the bag with food dangling between his fingers as he waited to be noticed and basked in the moment. He wasn't sure what was cuter, the caring adoration on Tobio's face or the deep trust and comfort etched into Kiyomi's. Proper, cleanly Kiyomi even drooled onto Kageyama in his sleep. It wasn't fair. How was he supposed to stay mad at him like this? It was too cute. Suddenly, Kageyama looked up startled, and his cheeks dusted pink at once. His beautiful, soft pink lips parted, but Atsumu motioned for him to remain quiet as not to wake the ace. He slowly approached them and reached over the back of the couch to rest his hand on the side of Tobio's face and angle his chin up. The alpha's dark blue got lost a little as his pupils widened in desire for his mate. To just be close and wanted in return. Atsumu leaned down and sealed their lips in a gentle kiss, pouring all his appreciation and adoration for the younger setter into the kiss. His perfect Tobio. Thank you. I'm not sure I would have been able to soothe whatever he's been breaking his head over this time. You? Confused, he tilted his head to the side as he searched Kagema's eyes for an answer. He has been worrying about you. Atsumu sighed and a smile softened as he watched their sleeping mate. Of course he did. Stay with him, yeah? I'll check on Hinata and see if he's ready for dinner. Tobio nodded and leaned into the touch of his palm before separating from him and turning his attention back to Kiyomi. Atsumu's gaze lingered for a little longer, and he was sure his gratitude was becoming evident in his scent. The utter gentleness Tobio showed their mate, where others would have reacted with frustration, as even he did sometimes, was something he was infinitely grateful for. Thank you all so much for watching to the end again. It means the world to me. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and tell me your thoughts about this in the comments. I thought they deserved a little bit more fluff before we get to the angsty and the hurt comfort part. And yeah, again, by all means, please share your theories and what your favorite quote was under the pinned comment. That is really what keeps these series going, and sometimes even gives me ideas for like bonus parts and sequels. So I'm just saying. And yeah, thank you so much to all my nerdy nekos. You help me so much. If you want to become a nerdy neko, they get early access, they get prioritized answering to comments, they get help me with decision making, and like in Discord, they get an exclusive channel in the Discord. Check out the join button in this video. Also, you would just be helping me out a ton to make more content and pay for my tuition. Here's more content. That also helps with my tuition if you click on it. And now I hope you want to finish the day. Bye everyone.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day.